Hey guys, I think we're live. Sarah, we are live.
Ding, ding, ding. Yes.
This is episode 115. Today we're talking about Sarah's new book, Hospitality from Within. Sarah,
Whoa.
show. Let's get the show started. Are you
Whoa.
ready?
I'm so ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hi, welcome to Hospitality Live with Rupesh, the hotel industry's top weekly resource for everything hospitality. Each week, you'll hear insights and the latest trends. Plus, get ready to be inspired by hotel leaders that are here to help you grow. Now, here's your host, Rupesh Patel.
What's up, Sarah?
What's up? By the way, I love this intro music every time. It always gets me pumped. I'm into it.
Guys, comment and let me know if you're watching from where, what city, and if you would like to win a copy of Sarah's book. We are giving away a bunch of books. We're not going to say how many, but we are. So if you stick around to the end, you will have a chance to win. The most engaging people are going to have a chance to win a copy of Sarah's book. Sarah, welcome to the show. Today, we're going to learn about hospitality strategies. We're going to talk about the 7 pillars of hospitality. We're going to talk about your book. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about a lot of different things.
We are.
When it comes to hospitality. That's what we're here for, right?
The magic H word. Yes, exactly.
So Sarah, I was like, usually I have the guests come on later, but you are not a guest. You're actually a co-host of this show. And I wanted to have you on because I am super excited that you wrote a book. You took the energy and time to write a book. And I know, because I've been talking for you for a while now about this book, and it's finally ready for sale. And so,
Yes.
guys, if you're not if you're interested, you have to go buy this book today. We're going to talk about the entire book. Not the entire book. We'll talk about the 7 pillars that are included inside of the book. But you can buy the book at hospitalityfromwithin.com. So somebody, please, everybody, please go bookmark that page. Sarah, what's up?
What's up? This is so exciting. What a journey it's been. And there's so much good stuff to talk about about the book, within the book, who's participated in it, by the way, because I think that's the biggest key is that, yes, okay, it's my book per se, but it wouldn't be my book without all the people that contributed. And I think that's the key thing to hospitality. We don't do anything alone. And so that's the whole thing with the book. So many incredible people contributed through stories, quotes, all that stuff. So it's an exciting time. I can't wait to share more.
Well, listen, you have a lot of fans that are watching, and thousands of people follow you. We're going to share her social media profiles here in a little bit when we get started with her feature. But let's see where people are watching from. Guys, comment if you would like to win a free copy of Sarah's book and what city you're watching from. So we have Patrick from Sarasota. We have Laura from New Braunfels, Texas. Patrick says, hey, he wants to win. Charleston's in the house. Lonnie's in the house. Adele's in the house, Sarah. Your buddy Adele's in the house. Peggy is in the house. And I think Peggy got an order in, which is awesome. Thank you so much, Peggy. Siggy's in the house. Guys, comment and let us know where you're watching from. And if you would like a chance to win a copy of Sarah's book, we are going to be giving it away. Guys, this episode is brought to you by the one and only smartguests.com. Somebody put it in the comments, www.smartguests.com, with over 4,700 hotels now within the United States. Sarah, 14700 plus hotels in the United States order from smartguests.com.
No way. That's huge.
All the time. Super excited that Smart Guests can help you with your reviews, operations, customer service. It is a print collateral company, also a digital platform where you can get a bunch of digital tools too. With over 50 tools, Smart Guests can help your hotel improve its operations, reviews, all those things that we all need right now as we are trying to grow our business. Now, my dog's over here making a lot of noise. Sammy, calm down. Sammy's gotten big. Thank you so much to Smart Guests. All right, Sarah, every week we talk about mindset. This week's mindset, let me see if I can pull it up. And it's super important to me because, we're both on social media and sometimes you feel good and bad about it. This is my mindset for this week, and it is I compete with no one. I run my own race. I have no desire to play the game of being better than anyone in any way, shape, or form. I just want to improve and be better than I was before, and that is me. I am free. I saw this. I saw this post on somewhere on social media. And I was like, oh my god, I have to share this. Um, this is a mindset. This is a vibe, Sarah.
Yeah.
We're not here to come. Like I post stuff not to make you feel bad, not to make people feel
No.
bad that we have a great life or whatever it is. It's to show that you can do it too. Whatever I'm doing and whatever Sarah you're doing, other people could do the same thing or better. Is that correct?
Oh, totally. And what I love about that is I know myself when I first started in the world of social media, I was like, oh gosh, I really was hard for me because the last thing I wanted was for anybody to think, oh, I'm like bragging or showing off and in fact, when I first started in social media, I wasn't in any of my posts. And I was actually talking about other things so that it was coming from like genuine places of recommendation. And I remember people were like, you should be in your post. You should be in your post. And I was like, no, but I don't want people to like think it's braggy or this. And then I had a realization. And when I realized like how much work and time goes into it. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm the lens. And it's not necessarily, and it's kind of once you find your voice. And I know Rupesh and I have talked about this a lot, like in our social media boot camp courses, but once you kind of find your voice and it's not, and you know that it's basically you're coming from a place that you're helping other people, whether it is giving them a mindset shift or idea or a recommendation or educating somebody. Once you're adding value, it takes the pressure off of you and you're just basically the conduit for it. So then it doesn't feel so braggy. I think the simplest example, I actually kind of love this one because this we kind of can all relate to, is sharing a picture of your lunch sometimes, and sometimes it's like, some people are like, well, I don't want to share a picture of why does anybody care what I eat for lunch? But it's how you talk about it. So if you share a picture of your lunch and you're at this restaurant and you're like, oh, they're known for their amazing grilled vegetable salad, blah, blah, whatever. And you're kind of talking about it through the restaurant standpoint. Or if you're like, oh, I'm trying out a new diet or whatever it is, now you're edifying people along the way. And it's not braggy, but it's like, you're taking people on the journey. And I think that's where that's where social media like really kind of like is, it gives back.
Yeah, and I agree. And I post stories on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And I've heard in the past, like, well, from people, I'm not going to say who, but a lot of people are like, hey, you do this, but my husband or wife doesn't do this. And I'm like, you don't compare yourself to other people on social media because it's not fair to you or to the other person, right? You're doing this because I'm like everything I share on social media, like I'm passionate about, right? It's not because I'm showing off. I am passionate about cooking. I'm passionate about pizza. I'm passionate about the hotel business. I'm passionate about sharing my life through a different lens, like you're talking about. And I think that's a vibe when we're talking about, being your authentic self.
Yeah.
We talk about this in our boot camp. We talk about this we live by this, right? We're not fake. This is me every single day. I like having a good time. I love music. I love all these things that I share. And I don't want to be that person that hides things. And I do, yeah, you don't share everything.
Everything,
life,
no,
right?
of course
but
not.
I share a lot. And I think that's important. And that's our mindset this week is, we don't compete with anybody. We just try to do our best and be passionate about the things that you're really passionate about and keep it going, right?
Yeah. And I think the other thing, especially with the not competing, is that reminder that, as they say, and we've heard this before, but this is a really important reminder, is that social media in essence is kind of like a highlight reel. We're not going into the depths of everything. There's a lot that people don't know about my life, and as well as Rupesh. Rupesh, you didn't share much of your family before, and now you're sharing a bit more, which I think is super cool. Like, it's like, oh, cool. Like, it's nice to see like the kids and your wife and like all that stuff. And you didn't share a lot of you snippets here and there, but more now. But like, that was like your journey into doing that. So it's all kind of cool to see. And you share what you're comfortable with too.
Yeah, I mean, and we don't have to share the same things. And that's the thing I'm talking about is
Yeah.
I'm not competing with you, Sarah, although we do a lot of things that are similar. We don't compete with each other. We
No.
complement each other. And I love that. And that's what when your passion comes through, it's like, oh yeah, don't share all yours. By the way, I share all my secrets. Everything I do for my hotel business, I share everything.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Everything.
Which is great.
Um I don't feel like I'm in competition with people. I think it's are you passionate about these different things, right? Or a few things that you can help somebody else with. And that's our vibe this week. We could have like a 2-hour conversation just on this topic, which might be a full episode, Sarah.
I think it's a good episode because, when you said that about sharing, and I think that I want to draw attention to that because I love that you share so much of whatever you've learned along the way, tips, tricks, all that stuff. I think so often people are like, well, I don't want to share this information that I figured out or my knowledge, but it's like, wait a second. Somebody still has to put in the work to take that knowledge and to turn it into something. So by you sharing it, it's not about like you're giving away the house per se. You're helping somebody, and maybe that little nugget that you shared ends up being the motivation for them to go on and do something amazing. And ultimately, if somebody does something amazing, like we all win. We all win. So I say share all the information that you know.
Absolutely. Well, Sarah, I would like for you to share what's going on in hospitality with today's episode of the Hospitality Minute with Sarah Dandashy. Let's get into it because I know there's a lot of things that are coming up.
There's things happening. Oh, wait. Oh, we're no intro. Fine. Here I am looking for an intro.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. No. I got too excited about the hospitality minute. Hang on. Let's do it right. Let's get the intro in.
Hi, I'm Sarah Dandashy from Ask a Concierge. Every week, I'll be sharing the latest hospitality and travel news and updates in a segment we like to call Hospitality Minute.
Got too excited. Here we go.
Very formal now. Now it can be very official. So official. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and dive into the hospitality minute. Some interesting things and some different topics. So obviously big news. 2 days ago, the U.S. opened for international travelers to come to the United States, so long as they had proof of a vaccine. And then they also obviously have to get tested for COVID as well, too, as all of us, if we are coming to the United States. So this is huge. And what wanted to talk about this is what does the U.S. reopening mean for the future of travel? First of all, it's huge. The U.S. still very much is people are looking towards the U.S. for navigating the future. And this is a big deal for the travel and hospitality industry because basically this reopening is going to be a positive domino effect for cities and other countries around the world. Seeing how we are able to do this, other countries are hopefully going to be able to follow suit. And we have seen many do so as well, too. This reopening is also sort of a little bit of a sign that the world is making progress against the pandemic. It's not saying that it's completely gone, but we are learning how to live with it. And I think that that's also been such a big thing is that we are going to have to learn how to live with this until we can kind of get to an even better place. But all in all, the U.S. reopening is crucial and keeping this momentum open for the travel industry. So yay, so excited, continue to travel and travel safely. So continuing on. All right. Another thing, not that I'm going to start giving you guys financial advice, I will say no, but really interesting. If you guys have noticed in the worlds of stock, travel stocks have recently soared, obviously in the original announcement about November 8th, and then leading up to it, travel stocks have soared. So in essence, what we saw during the pandemic, where they were kind of those stay-at-home stocks like Peloton, Zoom, Netflix, they've actually all fallen in recent weeks, and all of the big brands in the travel and hospitality space like American Airlines, Delta, Southwest, and then even we were seeing bookings, also booking holdings, they've increased as well. So if anything, this is a really good sign for what is to come for all of us in travel. Now, the final topic, okay, this is kind of a weird one because it's not so positive, but it's something that we should be talking about. And it's talking about being mindful of our employees, hospitality employees, for the holiday season. They've done a bunch of research and studies, and a lot of people that are working right now are it's tough. It is tough out there. We know this. We are seeing it. Some of us are there rolling up our sleeves at the desk doing the work, or we're seeing it from a different position. Keep that in mind, because those hospitality professionals that are working are really doing, they're really holding up a lot of the weight of the industry. And especially going into the holidays, we are going to see that business is starting to uptick, and it is going to be a challenging time. So I say that because some of the studies are basically showing that a lot of employees are contemplating, like, do I stay in this? Do I do something else? And I just want to share this as a reminder for all of us, is to take care of your employees, especially around the time of the holidays, and let them know, so that we can keep all of our incredible employees working and contributing to the hospitality industry, making it what we know is so special. So there you go. That's it for the Hospitality Minute. And that's fun.
Sarah, I wasn't going to throw you under the bus today. I know that
you have the whole show to throw me under the bus.
Sarah, it's always a pleasure having you on for the Hospitality Minute. Guys, catch her every week here on the show, sharing the latest in hospitality and travel news. Sarah, where can people find you for everything else?
Everything else, you can find me online. My brand is Ask a Concierge. My website, askaconcierge.tv. By the way, I don't know if so many people know this, but I do actually have at least 2 blog posts come out a month. So I talk about all things that are happening, more so from the consumer perspective of things. But there's a lot of new content that's coming out. So there's always a podcast, Say Yes to Travel, which Rupesh was on, the blog posts, all sorts of fun things on Instagram as well, too. And then now a book. Wow.
Well, let's get right into it, guys. This is episode 115. I can't believe it's been 115 weeks that we've been doing this, and Sarah's been on the entire ride, right? Which I really appreciate. Sarah, today we're talking, and I'm super excited about your book, Hospitality from Within, by Sarah Dandashy, and we're going to talk about the 7 pillars, which is part of the book. Sarah, tell us a little bit about yourself. Actually, tell us a lot about yourself, because for the folks that don't know, Sarah has a huge following. She has an amazing experience, and I'm going to give her the bell from the beginning. Let's go, Sarah.
Whoa, a concierge bell. I feel so like that's so appropriate, by the way.
What do you do? What do you do?
Okay, so well, how about this? To kind of bring people up to speed, because obviously you guys see me on here all the time, and I do talk a lot about what's happening in travel and hospitality, but what is that frame of reference? So for those that don't know, I worked in the luxury hotel space for over 18 years. So I've worked with some of the biggest brands, as far as like hotel brands. From Four Seasons is where I got started, Fairmont, Raffles, Peninsula, and then even like smaller boutique brands. Like the last hotel I worked at was the London West Hollywood, as well too. So I've kind of worked in a whole scope of different hotels, and 15 of those years I worked as a hotel concierge. So when I talk about travel and hospitality, I like to use this phrase, the front lines of travel. And I say that because I have been interacting with guests, and they're very much guest facing for a very, very long time. And not only just guest facing, but guest facing at a very high level. And for anybody that's worked in luxury properties, you know that it is a very different experience. Now, from that, I ended up creating my social media brand, Ask a Concierge, which was kind of a combination of, I really love storytelling. I love creating videos and telling all of that. And so many years ago now, over 8 years ago, I actually started building out a social media following. So my social media following is not an overnight thing. It's definitely been a long time in the making. And as you can see now, I kind of took what I was doing behind the desk, as far as like giving travel advice and information to guests on a regular basis, like in a hotel concierge lobby, or in the lobby of a hotel, now do it online. So that's kind of where the sort of shift has been. And in the past year, kind of shifting over to the book, things have changed, and I'm no longer working in a hotel lobby, but so much of what I've done for my life is all about hospitality. So I was like, how can I, capture this and share this? And so during the pandemic, I took definitely a lot of time to sit and think about it. And I'm like, I think when I think back on hospitality and maybe what makes it different, it is about this like genuineness, this hospitality from within. And that's where the name came from of the book. And not only that, and I will continue to say this, is that there are so many incredible stories from other people in the hospitality industry. Specifically, actually, the last chapter is all stories from concierge from around the world, because I think concierge really have a fun chance of interacting with guests and taking maybe a little request and turning it into something amazing and magical. So I actually called on many concierge colleagues of mine to share their moments where they kind of were able to embrace this notion of hospitality from within. So it's not just my stories, it's other people as well too. But it's been a really exciting journey. And so that's how that's my backstory as far as with hospitality, bit of me in social media, and then how I got to doing a book, which, by the way, for those that know, our dear friend Anthony Melchiori, he actually wrote the foreword to it, which was very sweet. And I will share at some point the video that he sent me after he read the book, because that's a pretty cool video. So
that is awesome. Now, Sarah, you've done a lot of content, and probably writing the book is probably the hardest content you can ever create. Is that correct?
That's a really good point, Rupesh. Like, as we're constantly spitting out content on a regular basis. I'm constantly writing a post or a blog post or a script and filming something, or I'm always creating content. So I'm like, what's a book? No big deal. A book is very different. And I give anybody who's ever written a book or contributed to a book so much credit, because it is a lot. First of all, you're dealing with a very lengthy document, and that is a lot to get a handle on. But then, keeping track of your thoughts, making sure that you're sharing enough. And then this has also been interesting. So I, am self-publishing this book. So I actually helped format the book. And so I would sit there and painstakingly be like, okay, I like this on this page. I like this graphic here, etc. I mean, talk about a true labor of love. When you see that people do that, you're like, whoa. I'll probably have more help for the next book, but I'm glad that I rolled my sleeves up and did it this time.
Well, check this out. We're giving away at least 2 or 3 copies of the book to the folks that are listening. So if you're tuned in right now, by the end of the show, Sarah and I are going to pick a few people, and I'm writing names down as the most engaging people on the show are going to be chosen and it's going to be probably just random, but most engaging people are going to be chosen. So definitely share your comments. If you would love to win a copy of the book, put that in the comments now. And then also, we all have so many experiences in the hotel business. You being a concierge, you've seen so many amazing, interactions with guests. We've seen so many different places where you've connected and made a difference, or had a story come through because of somebody at the hotel, or a guest that just interacted with you or your team. And we all have those experiences. I feel like everybody that's watching the show right now are going to be listening to it. They all have these ideas that they've written down, and they want to share it too. So writing a book is not easy, because you want to try to condense all those experiences into this couple hundred pages. And it's hard, because you're like, what do I talk about, and what part of the industry do I talk about? And so you're talking about hospitality from within. What does that mean for the folks that are going to be reading your book?
Yeah, well, I think in a nutshell, there are kind of 2 aspects to the hospitality from within. And the one aspect, which I think is probably maybe the more obvious one, is how we deliver and engage in our service. And, what makes the difference? Like what, I even talk about in the book, the difference between 4 and 5-star service. And that's also important, because you have to keep in mind, and I know, Rupesh, we've talked about this before, that when we're talking about 4 and 5-star service, it doesn't necessarily have to be the 4 walls that you're in. It is what you're actually doing and how you're making the guest feel. So it's when we're talking about delivering this service and this hospitality from within, it's all about this genuineness. And what I love with this, and certainly was my goal, is for those that are maybe coming into the hospitality industry for the first time, maybe this gives them a bit of inspiration and tips and tricks on how to like navigate dealing with guests or working with guests. But then also being very mindful for all of us that have been in the industry for a long time and will fully admit that some burnout is real. And sometimes we get a little not so excited to tell people directions on how to get to the Hollywood sign, but that's what we do. And you might have to repeat yourself a lot of times, or it's the same things. Like people are surprised that a guest is shocked that you have to do a hold against their credit card. And you're like, how do you not know that you have to take a hold against the credit card? Whatever these things are, we're constantly faced with. And so the other aspect of this is hoping that for those that have been in the industry for some time, that this kind of reminds us why we got into it and how we can tap into that genuine part where we really enjoy interacting with the guests and get something from it just as much as we're able to give. Because I think once you kind of have that flow, that you're appreciating what you're able to give to the guest as much as you're giving, that's where you get into that sweet spot. So the one part is that hospitality from within. So as a service provider, so to speak, that genuine nature of like really enjoying it. And you kind of get tickled about doing things, but then from the business side. And so for, maybe it's hotel owners or general managers, remembering that it's your employees. It's those that are guest facing, those that are interacting with guests, those that are within the hotel or the hospitality business confines that are delivering the service. That's also, that is very much, I think, the meat of hospitality. It's not just the building. The hotel is not a hotel that does everything that it does without the people that make it a special destination. So that's the other aspect of the hospitality from within. It's really the human aspect. Right. So,
well, let's get into the 7 pillars, because it's a chapter, right? It's a part of the book.
Yeah.
And I think it's important when, for the folks that are interested in buying it, you get a preview of what's inside of the book. And the first one, I think you give them to me. It's the first one's genuine, being just genuine and authentic in engaging, right?
Exactly.
With not only with guests, right? But with your team members, with vendors that come in, with folks that are just walking into the door. How authentic are you? What does that mean?
So, and I wanted to like really stress on that, because we obviously talk about engagement or being engaged, but it's more than being engaged. It's about this genuine, authentic. So what are you doing? You're picking up on cues as far as like what they're saying, or maybe what they're not saying as well. And you're being genuinely interested. And so there is that fine line between having an engagement, just interacting, and actually being involved in it. And so it's a fine line, but that's what makes a difference. And so it's like, and it can even be you're saying the same thing, but it's how you're saying it. So it's like, welcome to the hotel. And it's like, how was your trip in? As you're like checking them in, and you're just saying it. You're engaging, but it's not very genuine. So it's like, oh, welcome. How was your trip in? I hope you had a safe flight, or whatever it is, a smooth trip. And then
I think I always say ask a question, right? And I think that's very engaging when you're like having them respond, talking to them, right? Yeah, and you mean it, right? And then the number 1, 2 out of the 7 is the art of listening. Now you've talked about everything, but I have a problem with this, because I know I struggle with this all the time, is listen. And what does that mean, the art of listening?
So the art of listening, again, it's listening and reading a guest, because again, it's amazing how much people will share with you if you just kind of pause and listen. And the other thing is to draw attention to that is there's so much happening when we're working. It's like maybe I'm speaking from like a front desk or concierge thing, is like you've got emails coming in, the phones are ringing, you've got somebody in front of you, and like they're trying to tell you, that they want to do what's a cool place to go for a dinner reservation, or to get a dinner reservation at, and And then, but it's the things that they say that it's like, oh, it's an anniversary, or I really love chocolate martinis or whatever. So picking up on that, maybe they just even share like their experience, and you've picked up on a couple things that they like. Now you can turn that into an amenity for them. And so, and then the other aspect of it is also what's not said. So the power of picking up on those silent cues as well too. So that body language and all of that, it's really amazing when you just stop. And that's why that ties into that genuine, authentic engagement is if you're really connecting with somebody, you're going to pick up on so much more.
Right. And then the third one is making it personal. Now you've
Yeah.
done the talking, you've done the listening. Now you're trying to make it very personal to that guest that's in front of you. How do you make that happen?
Yeah, well, again, if you're picking up on the cues, it's easy to make it personal because all of a sudden you can either mention, basically kind of do a callback to what they just said, or you can again put together an amenity based off of a comment that they said in passing. The whole thing about making it personal, and this is something important. People don't want cookie cutter anymore. They want to feel special. And that's the whole thing. When you make it personal, all of a sudden you're telling them, wow, I matter. They kind of like, they care. And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't even have to cost a lot. It can even just be asking about their family who was there the last time when they stayed. So that's the other thing is that when it comes to hospitality, if you really just add that little special, like these little tweaks, you can really make it personal. And then all of a sudden they feel like they matter. And next thing you know, you've got somebody coming back for life.
Absolutely. And I just had a thing pass my head. We've talked about this a lot of times, is this idea of making it personal is like, if they're talking about their kids flying their 1-year-old or their 2-year-old, and that 2-year-old's been a pain in the butt the entire flight because, I've been through it where we've had an 8-hour flight to like London and my daughter was crying the entire time. And you share that story with the front desk person, and all of a sudden they get that cue. We get that cue of making it personal, of like, oh, they have a 2-year-old. Let me see if they can get if they need warm milk, right? Yeah. Simple things to make it personal, make their life easier, make that experience. That's what Sarah's talking about. Now, number 4 is anticipating their needs. Is that milk, right?
Exactly. And we know all about, and I mean, all of us in the hospitality industry, we're like, yeah, we get it, anticipating needs. But, when I talk about some of these things, I do a deeper dive, that it's more than just like these terms that we've talked about. But I also talk about the why. And why is anticipating needs, important, and how, because again, that ties into the paying attention. It's making it personal. All of these pillars, as you'll notice, all weave together to make this, exceptional hospitality experience. And so anticipating these needs, in short, subconsciously or consciously tells them that they matter and they are appreciated for being there. And if you tell that, if the guest feels that way, that is the ultimate win in hospitality. So that's why anticipating needs is, again, you're putting 2 and 2 together, as what Rupesh said. It's like, okay, they came in, they, had a flight with a 2-year-old, maybe some more milk would be nice. So that's a really simple example in regards to that.
And that was my example. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened to us.
Didn't it make you feel like, oh, first of all, it's like a relief, and you're like, gosh, that just feels so good.
Yeah. Even if you do milk to every family member that comes in, make it special for every single person, right? Even though, like, I know hotels that do this one thing for every guest that's a loyal member for their hotel, but they make it feel like you're the only person in the entire world that's getting this amenity or this experience, laid out to you. And I love that. Now we're giving away Sarah's book, Hospitality from Within. Sarah, show us the book.
Okay. Here we go.
There it is. Now it's on pre-sale right now. You can buy it right now at let me pull up the website real quick. It's hospitalityfromwithin.com. Very easy. Sarah, how'd you think of that?
I don't know. But
we're talking about the 7 pillars of hospitality. And Sarah, we got through the 4. Now, if you want a chance to win, comment, hit the love button, and you'll be entered to win. We're going to give it away we're going to give away 2 copies before the end of the show. I know there's a bunch of people that have made some amazing comments. And if you've loved this episode so far, hit the love button too. Now, number 5. What is number 5? We're talking about the 7 pillars.
Consistency. Because and that is the thing is that we can talk about this, but if you only turn on these special moments that you engage with guests and all of that every so often, well, that doesn't do anybody any good. So the importance is this consistency, because that's where you create a level of professionalism in yourself. That's also where you're able to tap into. That's how a brand becomes a brand, because you know that you will consistently get XYZ service. Think about it. And this is where it becomes a little tricky for hospitality. You think about Coca-Cola. You know, every time you buy a Coke, it's going to taste the same. But these are tangible products. Where we are in the space that we're in is it's not a totally tangible product. It's how you're making people feel. So there's a human element to that as well too. So this consistency is so very important to being professional and for delivering a product, and understanding that we are part of that product, and that our behavior and how we interact is so crucial to the success of the company that we work for, the success of either our department, and also the success of our personal success in our profession as well too. So consistency is king.
All right. What's number 7? We have 2 more. What is number 6? Sorry. What is number 6?
Efficiency. This is another thing. All of this is great, but if you can't deliver service or do things in a timely manner, it's kind of a moot point. A very simple example would be, it's like if somebody asks you to help them with something and like you can't get it done until they've checked out, well, they're already gone, and we are living and breathing in the world of perishable goods. That's what hotels are. So efficiency is extremely important as an aspect as far as hospitality, because if it's not done in enough time, it really is kind of a moot point. So again, this efficiency is extremely important.
Now,
yes,
number 7 out of the 7 pillars of hospitality, which is a topic in Sarah's book, Hospitality from Within. Sarah, what is number 7?
Oh, keeping it fresh. And I think so many people will understand what we do. We are humans. Okay. And sometimes we have to do a lot of repetitive things, and it gets tough. If anybody gets it, I get it. I know Rupesh understands sometimes. And so how can we remind ourselves to keep it fresh, keep it unique to us, whether it's through the eyes of our guests, whether it's putting ourselves in their shoes, and really finding that moment that, we're excited to share that information for the 100,000th millionth time that we might be saying it. But again, that is such an important part of hospitality, because it's not about us. When we are delivering service and when we are interacting with guests, it's not about us at all. It is about the recipient. So that is why keeping it fresh is so important, because you're doing it through the eyes of the guests. I even actually quote Dr. Brian Williams, who, by the way, if you guys don't know him, he's an amazing service trainer, and so much more. That I think that doesn't even do him justice. But as he likes to say, is keep it crispy. And that quote is in this book as well too. But I think it's so awesome. But again, keeping it fresh. It also keeps us re-engaged in what we're doing as well too. So, by the way, this is just like one of the many chapters. We cover a lot of other things, from the tipping point between 4 and 5-star service, diving a bit more into relationships, the importance of communication. So, I mean, there's a lot more to these, but I thought that these would be kind of a great way to kind of give you a little bit of a sense of really what helps us tick. And maybe there's aspects of this that but I think reminders are always so important, because it also helps us keep it fresh.
Well, when I saw keep it fresh, I thought it was like,
I mean, you could do that.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my, I'm going to come up with a whole thing, and next time you do that, I'm going to be like, welcome to my book. Hospitality from
Guys, next episode, we're going to keep it fresh by Sarah doing dancing and me beatboxing. Is that a
perfect? I love it. I love it.
Sarah, I know you have to run. I have to run. This has been amazing. I can't wait to get a copy in my hands, just like everybody else that's watching. Guys, if you've loved this episode, I loved it. I can't wait to read the book. I know there's a lot of things inside of the book that you're excited about and you're excited to share with the world. What else can people, or actually tell us like a few other things that people can find within the book, within hospitality.
So also the other aspect of it, which is kind of interesting, is I actually talk about the history of hospitality. So I actually lead with that topic as well too, because again, we're in the day-to-day, like we know what we're doing, but adding that little element of the history, like how did we get to where we are today with hotels, is really fascinating. And again, it puts it into perspective. So, you know, again, the tipping point, and then really, I think probably some of my favorite parts of the book are the stories from other people working in the industry, because it's so cool. We're talking about people from around the world, which just reminds us how universal hospitality is. And to be able to see that come to life through other people having these special, like, oh, I should do this, or this would be a great thing, or making the impossible possible. And a lot of it's also, you know, mindset shifts and reminding ourselves, you know, how we can make things happen. You know, definitely the magic mindset is one of those. And that is really all about making the impossible possible. And then also even touch on the aspect of, in a culture of yes, because that's what the culture of hospitality is, saying yes, sometimes we have to say no. And how do we navigate that as well too? Because maybe it's a legal or moral thing, or maybe we just can't deliver on it because it's not possible. So in a culture of yes, how do we say no and deliver it in a positive way as well too? So lots of great things in the book. And by the way, for everybody that is ordering today, I'm going to be able to see when the orders come in. I'm actually going to send a special extra gift. Also, for everybody that orders from my site, hospitalityfromwithin.com, that site, all of those copies will be autographed. So they will be signed. So you'll get that as well too, because it is actually coming directly from me. So I will be going ahead and putting that together. And for anybody that orders today, and the reason why is because my official pre-sale, because if you're wondering, you're like, wait a second, Sarah's like loud on social media. Where is the official pre-sale? Starts tomorrow. So you guys are getting special early access. So if you order today, I'm going to make sure that everybody that orders early gets an additional little gift with this. Pre-sale starts tomorrow, 11/11. Thought that would be kind of cool, November 11th. And then the hard copies of the books will be mailed out in the beginning of January. If I can do a little bit of a special mailing out to some of you beforehand for the holidays, I'll do that as well too. So that's that. Adele just asked, is it going to be on Audible? I will be doing an Audible version, not right away, because I definitely want to make sure that we get the hard copy in people's hands. But I will definitely look into doing that in the next couple of months. If you want to hear my voice for an entire book.
I would love to hear your voice for quite some time. Can't wait for you to read the entire book to me as I am driving in the car, which would be amazing. Sarah Dandashy, it is always a pleasure, especially this episode where your book gets to be featured before the pre-launch, which is awesome. If you guys are listening and watching, you guys have an exclusive here. This hasn't happened anywhere in the industry for Sarah. Sarah, it's always a pleasure having you on. And thank you guys tune her in every week here on Hospitality Live. But also, she has her own podcast. She has her own social media presence across every single channel. Buy this book. Let me take the thing off. Let me see if I can do it. If you don't win it today, you have to go buy this book right there.
There you go.
Right there. At hospitalityfromwithin.com. Guys, comment if you're going to go buy it. Even if you win it, go buy a copy for a member of your team, which I am going to do. I actually just bought a bunch yesterday, and I can't wait to share them. I can't wait to give them away in the next several weeks, several months, as we continue helping Sarah reach her goals, which I love to do, and I love to help you. So Sarah, thank you so much for being dedicated to this show every single week, and just putting the effort in. And I wanted to give that love back to you, and I'm going to continue giving it back to you through this channel and social media. Sarah does an amazing job at inspiring folks. She's inspired me to keep going. Even when I wanted to quit this last few years, year and a half, there was times where I said, you know what, this is not giving me a lot of, value, or I feel like it's not helping people out. She was just like, keep it going, like a few other people have too. And I appreciate that. And if you love Sarah, hit the love button. Now we're going to give away the book to two lucky winners. And this is, and you might get it before the actual book goes out next year in January.
I'll make sure that if you win this book, that you get it before everybody else gets it.
All right, so I wrote down 2 folks that I loved reading their comments. Everybody's a winner, by the way. You guys are all winners in our books. But the 2 winners are Lonnie Wolf. Thank you so much for your engagement here during this 45-minute session. And then Laura Wolven, congratulations to you. You win a free autograph copy. Both of you guys win an autograph copy. Guys, congratulate Lonnie and Laura. They're your friends in hospitality. They're our friends in hospitality. And Sarah, I wish you nothing but the best on this book. I know it's going to be a top seller. I can't wait to help you promote it. Guys, the book is Hospitality from Within. Go buy it. Help Sarah out. And let's share the good word of hospitality across the world.
Yes. Can't wait. Thank you so much for having me on, and can't wait to share everything exactly as you said, the good word of hospitality. So, woohoo.
Guys, until next week. We'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.
Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Bye, Sarah.
Bye.